Hello, everybody. It's Burhaan here, and in today's episode, once again, I'm still sort of making things in my pocket. I'm not anywhere near my base, and I've basically, I think when I put this recording down, when I started this particular recording, I basically upgraded some of the power supply already. And I basically go ahead and connect all of that up. Obviously, I in the previous episode I noticed that the power was the power situation was pretty dire. I had decided to go along with robots, or at least to have more robots in the network to actually start delivering or moving iron ore from my train to the actual network where it's going to get smelted and stuff. And obviously that created a whole new dynamic in the game for me, because previously we basically didn't have much power, or we needed less power to actually have the factory running. And so I put in another 10 kilowatts worth of smelters. You can see I made a few more sort of steam boiler things, steam engines in my pocket, and basically had the robots just fill that up for me. And so this particular this particular power section is pretty polluted. It's causing a lot of pollution for me. You can see in the little mini map there's obviously biters in the south, and the cloud is pretty large. It is pretty large. So I just decided to sort of clean up and move this wall. I am worried that the biters are going to come over and annihilate my power system. It's a very precious thing. Power is something that we're obviously dependent on in the factory to keep everything working. It also defends us in a way, so that we don't die, because it keeps the factory running. We have everything is basically, we depend on electricity for everything. So I decided to extend this wall and this line of defense all the way down, almost as far as the station right at the bottom. I then go ahead and connect up the power so that all of these inserters basically have. And of course, if you remember from my previous episodes, the way that this works is all of these ammunition, or all the ammunition basically get filters down, and the robots deliver to one requested chest right at the top. So it might be that I need to update the number of ammunition rounds that are being requested in that particular chest. But we just make sure over here that every single inserter has got power so that we can feed the power down. So I do just that. I go in and I up the number of ammunition rounds that are coming into this particular chest. 800 seems to be okay. I don't exactly know how many guns are in that line, but it seems to be working, and the inserters are working to fill that up. I go over to the electricity sort of section, check out what's going on. We're on about 80 megawatts, and it's kind of there. It's fluctuating. We still need more. Power. I go ahead and do some more research. Combat robot damage 2. That's a tongue twister, if I ever heard one. Combat robot damage 2. In the last episode, obviously, I had like a little bit of a train jam on that episode, and you'll see me sort of walking past that intersection. I basically changed the intersection to use a circular loop, and I planned it out so that everybody joins in, and that circular loop is basically controlling traffic. I still haven't got it down to 100%. But do leave a like if you're enjoying this series so far. Thank you so much. So I check out what's going on. I think I pick up a few more steam engines. There's obviously no steam engine production. I put in boiler production the last time in the last episode, and I go ahead and grab a yellow assembly machine, put in, for whatever reason, a stack inserter, which seemed to be a bit odd. Request whatever we need for that steam engine, and I think it's gear wheels. And yeah, we have the requested chest. Well, I decided to use the same requested chest in that I don't see the problem in using the same requested chest, but then I put in a passive provider so that I can basically have all of it going. It looks like we're just short of iron plate, and I'm still trying to figure out what's going on. Why is it not making anything? But it looks like I was also distracted by something. I decide to use this sort of iron line that's coming in to make these accumulators up top, and then I decide to can the idea entirely. Of course, I just noticed that there's 50 stone sitting in that particular chest, which is pretty odd. So anyways, I decide to move the assembly machine over, still use a stack inserter for whatever reason, put the passive provider on the right hand side, put a requested chest in, and have a dedicated requested chest for gears. And of course I pick up the gears that I took out of that chest earlier, and then I tell the machine what to make, and for whatever reason I can't find it. No, I'm still trying to figure out what else to go in this. Anyway, right, I tell the machine what to make. It's got iron plate now, and obviously it's still requesting, well, it needs the inserter, right? So for whatever reason, again, I use a stack inserter. I put it the wrong way around, and then I realize that that's a passive provider. Turn it around, turn the inserter around, put in another inserter. It's almost as if I was like stoned or high or drunk or something while I was making this video. But it very quickly makes 20 steam engines, and then I decide to limit that to 60 steam engines. I grab 10 quickly for myself, grab 20 for myself quickly, and then I head on over because I do have the boilers. So there's the two loops. I basically just did a blueprint with the one above, and then put that together. So I go ahead and get my blueprint, and basically this is modular now. So all I need to do is plonk down a couple more sort of blueprinted boilers and steam engines, and of course I've got it all in my inventory. The robots are all coming from all the way down. Of course, we need another roboport to extend this particular section. The robots are traveling quite far away. They are charging on that steam on the roboport as they fly down. I grab a substation to basically power all the inserters that are involved in making sure that this section is working. And of course then we need to connect up some more pumps. Have to make 2 more for the second row. Grab some pipe, looking for the pipe, and I realize that I am out of pipe, and so I just quickly make a few in my pocket. Keep pressing the wrong button. Keep hitting T on the keyboard. I then finally connect up the belts so that the coal can get brought down. Please do subscribe for more videos. Thank you so much. and I basically watch the coal all go in. Now this brings up another point in that, the coal, I'm basically depending on one supply. I'm depending on one drop-off point where the trains are putting the coal down, and I immediately sort of start thinking about, okay, if the coal is all coming in from one point, are we dropping off? Are we dropping enough coal at that point? I go up and I pick up some more steam engines, purely because the robots have not delivered them yet. And I also just quickly have a look at the loop to make sure that the loop is actually working. Bump into a number of things and almost run into the water there. And finally, the robots are actually placing these steam engines down. And of course, they're not connected to the main power grid, so we go up here and just put down some more poles. I do realize that I'm wasting a little bit of space when it comes to sort of the line above, but I actually don't care. It's not something I'm too worried about. We could do it a little bit more efficiently, but nonetheless, I put down a pole just to have sort of a redundant connection to the bottom there, and start going down. I realized that when I disconnected the power, or for whatever reason, I disconnected power to the section below, and I'm not sure how that happened. I think it was a big electric pole that just wasn't functioning. I realized that we don't have any ammo in this particular box, and this ammo is actually supplying this entire section. Of course, there are still biters in this area, but at the same time, I don't really want to deconstruct it, but yeah, it is very faffy, and I really don't have the patience or the time to do that right now. And I also upgraded the inserter there to a stack inserter. That particular wall was I placed that wall down very early on in the series. We're up to now 80 megawatts. Production seems to be okay. We're consuming 80 megawatts, but we are doing quite fine in terms of power now with those additional steam engines. And I'm quite happy about that. We just observed the train come in. I noticed that a few of these mine neutrals were actually already fully mined out, and I basically just collect them or pick them up. Of course, with these stack inserters, the first stack inserters always collect the most number of items and fill up the first chest. And so the chest at the end usually does not fully fill up. The train leaves. I didn't check if the train was actually full or not, but it looks like all of these chests, or not all of these chests, are filling up to the fullest. So I just quickly upgrade the belt there to a red belt in an attempt to try to get more coal through the system, and I immediately then just upgrade the entire line, or most of the line, to the entire line to red belt, to try to get as much coal to the chests while the train isn't around. So it looks like the chests are filling up. I think I'm waiting also for the train to arrive so I can see sort of how many coal, but then I decide to just sort of carry on. Of course, this particular section was where the iron ore patch was, and it's completely mined out. We then make our way back to the base to check on things. This copper deposit looks to be almost out. It's basically just pieces here or there. I'm not really too concerned about it. I know it's gonna be decommissioned fairly soon. The factory looks to be working quite well right now, and of course the robots are charging towards me to resupply me with all the ammo that I used. I then go ahead and activate the research for combat robot damage 3. And just check on things around the factory. I then unlimit, all right, or I change the limit on these 2 chests. I want the factory to be working. I'm not too worried about the fact that you know, we don't want to be making too many things. I want there to be restriction. I don't want restrictions. I want there to be too many things in the factory. Accumulators are not being manufactured for whatever reason, and of course there's a shortage of batteries. I'm requesting 200 batteries, but the 200 batteries just haven't arrived. So I go over quickly to where the batteries are being made, and I have set up a requested chest or a provided chest right at the end of this line to pick up the chests. There's 400 sitting in there. It's in the network. I don't see any reason why the robots have not taken them over. I then quickly go down again and check on that requested chest again, and I quickly realize, well, I don't realize it immediately, but for whatever reason, that particular chest is just outside the network. It's 1 square or 1 tile away. Look at that. It's like, I was just looking at this and I was like, what? Why? You know, this is just that one little thing. And so I decide to put down another roboport, yes, above this one, to basically have that 1 chest inside or within the range of the network. And so as soon as that happens, the robots charge with 200 batteries and we start making accumulators. For whatever reason, we did not have that happen before. I decided to put in a speed module, just 1 for now, and and have that machine working. I immediately noticed that there's a shortage of plastic, and I quickly run over to see what's going on. But then I give up on that idea and just decided to check on some other stuff. This loop is obviously not required anymore. So I decommission it. I think it looks quite fine. It seems to be working okay. There aren't any trains really bottlenecked in that section. So I'm quite happy about that. I then go ahead and request beacons, because I do want to start putting beacons on a number of things. I need to increase the number of beacons here by the smelters, because for whatever reason I need to just do smelting in a more efficient way. I'm checking on the time of my recording. And basically just monitoring things. I check on the power. Power seems to be fine for now. We're making 2,400, 2,500 odd copper plate, which by no means is a big factory. You know, an average of 2,000 copper plate, copper wire, 1,300 iron plate, 1,400 copper plate. It's not much, and you see the graph just fluctuates. It's an up and down sort of battle. So right now I'm heading up to check things out on the sort of mining areas in the north. 2 mining drills or 3 mining drills here that are basically finished, or that have done their work. I go down and immediately sort of try to figure out what is going on with this this particular area, and I notice that these biter bases, well, this particular biter base has just spawned and causing havoc near this copper sort of section. It's pretty easy. It's pretty easy to eliminate all of these biters in this area. The thing that takes me long is to actually pick up all the guns, which is quite funny. I decide to head north and just go see what's going on. I notice a base on the right hand side. There's a patch of oil there, but there's really no need to get that. I mean, one patch of oil, we're not really going to do much. Quickly eliminate this base, just because I can. It wasn't really in the way, but it is in pollution range, and of course the base on the north is sending some peeps to try to destroy me. And so I decide to attack. I'm not bothered with them anymore. I just need to like eliminate them and just have them dead. And so in actually playing Factorio, it's not such a bad thing that there are aliens. I know I've said in other videos that I don't like them. To me, it's more of an annoyance. It's like, especially with them encroaching more and more in, closer to the factory. And right now, I'm not actually interested in collecting the pink artifacts, because I've got so many in the base. I think eventually I will probably need to collect more because, as we do like the follower robot counts and things, we will need a ton of those. I've also decided not to pick up my guns because I couldn't be bothered. Like, I'd rather have the factory just make more guns for me rather than collecting these. I feel like, if there are any biters that just pitch up and the guns are there, then so be it. I do find a ton of oil, so this is really good for us because this oil is definitely going to help out with production of red circuits. Obviously there's some guns laying around, and another biter base that's here, and I decide to eliminate that because I think that this is going to be the iron patch that I'm going to start another sort of supply from. I'm going to put down a few miners. I've decided to sort of earmark this as a as another position to collect some iron, and decided to clear away some trees. And of course the robots are trying to they're already going into my auto deconstruct, so that's pretty cool. I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to put the railway down, and sort of where I'm going to position the station. And I decided to just do a vertical. I just wanted to try a vertical station. Obviously in the previous version of Factorio, vertical stations were not as efficient as horizontal, and I quickly sort of decide to start building this rail line coming down and to the south. Basically have a tree. I thought I had my shotgun in my hand, but instead I just burned some trees. So start building this rail, and basically what we're going to do is we're just going to connect up to the existing to this existing station. And this is actually quite a big coal deposit, so it's quite cool. This is going to last for quite a long time. There's not much traffic on this line, so I'm not too concerned about that. But having it connected to the main sort of network is fairly important. And so I connect that up, just try to see which particular tile does not have a connection. And basically, when the train exits, it's going to exit the top, exit from the top, and go up north to the rest. I couldn't be bothered with sort of having the lines, you know, equidistant from each other. I just want this rail to be connected. I then decide to make this a straight sort of connection, going back, because I'm not happy with the with that little kink in the turn. So obviously, with this being the return line, I then need to deconstruct or pick these rails up, so that I can continue the line in a much more in a better and a more straight line. This looks a lot neater as well. Good. So this line is going north, and it's basically going to be a loop at the end. I don't end up building the loop at the end for whatever reason. I'm basically scouting out to see where the station is going to be, and whether I'm going to have a sort of a connection point to the oil, and then have the iron depot as a separate pickup point on the left hand side. So I then decide to just deconstruct the end here and put in the turnabout, or what is this called, the circular loop or the star loop, I don't know what you want to call it. And then I quickly realized that the track doesn't line up. The spacing I used doesn't match with the one that I put down on the current line that's going south. And so I decided to deconstruct it. Because there's no point in just doing like weird bends and things. We just need to reconnect and just quickly build this up again. And of course, I don't have enough rails. I'm running out of rails fairly quickly. The robots are deconstructing the rails as I go. So they've picked all of that up, and I just basically put this bend in, pick up these two pieces and 3 pieces, and then I'm basically done. So that's pretty cool. I grab a few signals and just start putting that in. Of course, the signals on this loop are not that important. I mean, it is important, yes, but again, I have not completely understood where these things need to go and how they function, how they work. So this may not be the right way. It probably isn't the right way to do it, but I will be fixing that in the near future. Again, there's probably a way to do chain signals and things, and even in the comments, if you know of a layout that works well with the loops like this, please do let me know. Again, I don't have enough rails, and I can build rails, so I decide to build sort of a couple of rails on me, just in an attempt to try to finish this particular section. I decide to do a little sort of oil station in a loop over here, and again, quickly run out of rails. I'm trying to build, but I can't. And then get building on some more, because this episode's going to wrap up, and I'm trying to finish up. I want to at least finish this loop before I wrap this up. Good. So that's pretty much done. And I'm basically ready to put down the station and put down the actual oil collection point. So I think I decide to, because we're driving on the left hand side, the train's going to come in from the top. It's going to be basically a single carriage. Put down some guns to protect sort of what we've built. There will be some pollution from the train. There's obviously guns from just now where I killed some of the aliens, and I just randomly put down these guns to protect this area. So with that, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate your view. I name this oil supply as oil supply 5. With that, thank you very much. Bye bye.